All right, let's quickly turn our attention to the Randburg Magistrate's Court. This is the court that will hear an extradition case against an alleged kingpin wanted for kidnapping cases in Mozambique. Now, the man is accused of orchestrating abductions in his home country, where ransom demands were also made. He was arrested during a raid by police together with Interpol in Centurion on Saturday. Now, police seized firearms, cartridges, mobile phones and various SIM cards, including bank cards. Now, law enforcement officials acted following an arrest and an extradition request by the Mozambican government. And Linda Mnisi is our reporter on the story. Linda, good morning to you. South Africans will be curious to know, how did a man like this end up in South Africa?
Indeed, Paul, especially because, from what we're getting from the SAPS, this is someone who, has been wanted for a very long time. We know that that warrant of arrest and that extradition request arrived in South Africa in July of 2022, and police have been looking for this man only to find him in Centurion. But the last time we spoke with the AM team, we were at the Randburg Magistrate's Court, right? Because that's where he was due to appear. But right now, we've been told to move quickly to the Tembisa Magistrate's Court. Things have had to move very quickly this morning because, of course, we're now told that he'll be making his first appearance here at the Tembisa Magistrate's Court. And from what I can tell you, Tolu, from the sense that we're getting outside or inside the Tembisa Magistrate's Court, a large police contingent. You should have seen when the police vehicles arrived this morning, arriving here at the Tembisa Magistrate's Court. You can already tell there will be a large police contingent. And from also the information that we're getting is that this, of course, is an alleged kingpin, right? So what he would normally have would be like a lot of influence, really, which perhaps if one may look at it, suggests that there would be a need for such a large contingent of police officers. It's not clear yet if he will be making his appearance at this particular court, which is courtroom number 2. I say this because what we know is that the court manager as well as the court staff had not yet received that particular docket when we had the conversation with them this morning. But we were asked to stand just outside the court to make sure that when communication is ready around where exactly he would be appearing, then we would be able to move. Quite a number of movements outside this court. I mean, if you look, on the sidelines, on the side, what we were also able to see were law enforcement. And you'll remember that in that statement that was released by the SAPS, or at least the information that we have been receiving from the SAPS, is that they were working together with the trilateral planning cell as well as Interpol. So it's a multidisciplinary approach which also involves law enforcement from countries like Mozambique itself. So we had a brief interaction with what is believed to be law enforcement from the Mozambican side. So at this very moment, there hasn't been any clear knowledge around what will happen going forward, because, of course, amongst the things that the court staff need to ascertain is, the safety standards of this particular case and what really needs to happen, the kind of court that they need to allocate this matter to. So a number of things are yet to unfold before we see him actually appearing before this court. But from what I can tell, if you look at outside the vehicles that arrived this morning, a large contingent of police vehicles arriving, and immediately you could see the number of police officers that entered into this court.
Yeah, Linda, before I let you go, the assumption is that because he has yet to appear in court, it would be difficult for you and I to identify this individual as to what his name is, but just detail for the viewers briefly, if you can, just some of the crimes that he's accused of.
Well, at this point, what the police are telling us is that he's linked to kidnappings in Mozambique. And what they're going to do here in South Africa is basically investigate whether he's linked to any kidnapping crimes in the country. So at this point, there isn't any crime that he's linked to, as far as we know, at least from the information that we're getting, that he's linked to in South Africa. But police say that they will be investigating to try and determine whether or not he is linked to any crimes in South Africa. For now, it is that warrant of arrest that has been received from the Mozambican government, as well as that extradition request. So those will unfold in this court. You'll remember the extradition process is quite a lengthy process, and this person is, of course, believed to be an alleged fugitive. So that process will unfold, and at the end of these proceedings, a court of law will then determine if he is, to be surrendered to that particular state. So a number of things are yet to unfold, but at the same time, those investigations will determine whether or not he has committed any crimes in the country. If we also look at some of the things that he's been found with: a 9mm licensed firearm, 9mm cartridges, about 14 if I'm not mistaken, as well as multiple bank cards. I think the scope then of investigations goes wide, because if you look at, of course, the things that he's been found with, it will obviously raise eyebrows within the SAPS itself. So quite a lot of work for the police to do in terms of first trying to establish if he's linked to any crimes while this process of extradition unfolds in the courts.
Live at the Tembisa Magistrate's Court, Linda Mnisi reporting for us there. This is someone who was arrested by the police, and as you've heard Linda say, working alongside Interpol. He was found at an upmarket estate in Centurion. Very interesting indeed.